When you open the cabinet to the video system, you will see the instructions on the inside door, the remote control for the RCA overhead projector, the 3 receivers for the handheld microphone and 2 lavalier microphones, the mixer, and the laptop computer. The laptop may be in the office as it is designed to have a docking station in each location. If it is in the office, just unplug the one USB-C plug and you will see how to plug it in a minute. There is a power cord in each location, so you don't need to unplug it and move it with the laptop. The other components are the handheld microphone and the 2 lavalier microphones. They are in the pull-out drawer below the cabinet. We will need a supply of fresh AA batteries for the microphones. The first thing we do based on the instructions is turn on the red button on the power strip, left side of the cabinet, top shelf. This red button turns on the mixer, the lavalier receivers, and the 2 overhead speakers. It does not turn on the computer because it is plugged in all the time and has power, so it's charging constantly. It shouldn't be dead when you open it up. Then pull off the RCA projector overhead remote control, point it at the projector, hit the red button, and you should see it start to fire up and warm up. Then open the laptop and turn on the power. That is the top right button. There may be a warning about the power cord not being strong enough to charge the battery. Ignore that and carry on. Here is the login information. The password is 060644 for D-Day. The USB-C and audio cable need to be connected. This is the USB-C cable. It is labeled on the cord and the laptop. This cable sends the video to the projector and charges the laptop. This is the audio plug. This sends the audio to the mixer. If this is unplugged, you will only hear audio through the projector, which is not very loud. The USB cable below that is for the DVD drive. It needs to be plugged in if you want to show a DVD, as the laptop does not have an internal DVD player. The top right button is the power button. Just hold that for a few seconds and it'll power up. There are 2 HDMI cables that are plugged into the overhead projector. One is plugged into the docking station that feeds the laptop. The other is hanging loose and can be used to plug in a separate device like a camera or some other computer. There is an HDMI out cable that comes from the left flight sim computer, so you can plug that in and display the flight sim on the overhead projector. You will just need to switch the source input with the white RCA overhead projector remote control. The external DVD drive is velcroed to the top of the laptop. You can take it off if you need to, but you can't play a DVD without it. There is enough extra cable to put the laptop on the table if you need to. It may be a little bit of a mess, but the cables should reach the table. This is what the login screen will look like. It's defaulted to IEWCAF. The password is taped to the laptop 060644. Once you're logged in, you'll see an icon that'll take you to the Inland Empire Wing YouTube channel. Click on that and you'll go to the page. If you want to play a DVD, then click on one of these 2 icons. It goes to the same program, but that's what you'll use to play a DVD off the DVD drive. Once you're on the Inland Empire Wing YouTube channel, click on this button that says videos. It'll show you all the videos that we loaded up. Just double click on them, hit play, and they will play through the overhead projector and the sound will go through the speakers. We have a handheld microphone called Mic. We also have 2 lavalier mics called Lav 1 and Lav 2. When you turn those on, they will go straight to the mixing board and they will all mix together, including the audio that's being played by the computer and the DVD. So as you're talking on the microphones, it'll talk over and with whatever's projected from the DVD player, which you may or may not want to do, so you can mute those as required. I recommend not storing the mic with the batteries in it, so unscrew the bottom, flip it over, open the little battery container, and put 2 AA batteries in there. Then close it back up, hit the white button forward, and then it'll turn green. That's how you know the microphone is on. Once you look at the window there, you'll see the red button. That means it's muted, so push it up to go back to green, so now you're talking. And in the window, you'll see 1-1, which shows you the bank and channel that is transmitting on. So as we look at the receiver that's labeled mic, you can see that it's got bank 1, channel 1, which corresponds to the handheld microphone. You can also see the little green symbol showing that it's receiving the signal from the microphone, so you should be transmitting with no problem. You can also see in this instance that it's receiving a signal from Lav 1 with the green symbol shown here. The lavs should also not have batteries stored in them, so when you need to use it, just open the little door, flip it open, add 2 AA batteries, and then turn it on with the red power button that's shown right here. If the microphone cable is not plugged in, just screw it into this position right here, and then check to see the bank and channel is appropriate. So in this case, it should be 1 channel 2 as shown in this window. And once again, you can see on the receiver labeled Lav1, it's got bank 1, channel 2, and the green receiver light is on, letting you know you're getting the signal from the Lav transmitter. To use the Lav mic, you can attach this transmitter to someone's belt or wherever is comfortable, then plug this mic on their collar or the shirt where it makes sense. And there is a mute button up top here that I recommend you use when they're not talking. Otherwise, you'll hear them breathing and the microphone rustling on their shirt or whatever they're doing to make static noise. Once again, the mic and both Lavs, as well as the DVD player and laptop output, are designed to be all used at the same time. So you can talk all over each other and over whatever DVD is playing. These banks and channels 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 are set a little bit arbitrary. I set them up based on recommendations from the instructions, but they do suggest you don't use something weird like 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 2, so it should be in some sort of logical order. As we use these more in the future, we may see that radar and airplane radios may interfere with these, so we may need to change them in the future to make it a little more smoother for us. There are detailed instructions how to do that. Those instructions are in the drawer below where the Lav and mics are held, and by following those you can switch the channels and banks as necessary. We added 2 new speakers. These are very powerful speakers and they're barely turned up at all, so they have a lot of power to them. They are once again powered by the power strip, so when you turn that power strip on, these are turned on and they will work independently of the DVD player and the laptop. So you can still use the Lavs and the mics with these speakers whether the computer is turned on or not. There's going to be some adjusting of these because they may need to be separated a little bit more and turned away to minimize feedback with the mics and Lavs. We'll have more to mess with that once we start using them all 3 at the same time and see where the feedback comes from, but that's one thing that we'll have to look for in the future. These can also be unplugged and moved and used independently with the speakers. Like we could take these out to the hangar if we wanted to and use the handheld microphone. That's an option. It just may be a little bit of a mess trying to plug things, unplug them and plug them back in, but that is an option for future use with these speakers. There's also a mic stand that you can use for the handheld mic on the desk if you need to for presentations for the desk or the podium. The way the mixing board is set up, so once again you have the mic which goes to the mic receiver. That then goes to this part of the mixing board labeled mic. The volume for that is this button right here. Then Lav1 goes to the Lav1 receiver, which then goes to this part of the mixing board called Lav1. Its individual volume is this button. And then Lav2 is obviously this receiver, and that goes to this part of the mixing board, and that Lav2's volume knob is this knob. You still have one channel that is free, and in theory you could add some other component to this one if you wanted to in the future. On the right side of the mixing board, these 2 cables are what comes in from the computer, and these 2 cables are what leaves the mixer and goes to the external speakers. This is another audio input. You could plug an MP3 player or something like that into that one, and that would also mix with every other thing that's plugged into it, the mics, the Lavs, and the DVD player. And this is the master volume that controls all the volumes for the entire mixing board. To turn off the system, just follow these 4 steps.